Hi guys, a really good question I got asked this week, and it's by some university students at Sunderland University, where I'm doing a little bit of work with some students that are going to be going on to run their own businesses. And it was about the £1,000 trading income allowance that you are able to apply if you've not got a huge amount of turnover, and also a minimal amount of costs. So essentially, I think this was brought in about 2 years ago. I think it was 17-18 year tax year, but don't quote me on that. And the idea is that this £1,000 allowance covers any casual income, or maybe where you're starting a self-employed business. So it might cover things like if you've done a bit of gardening for someone, or you've helped someone set up a website, or it might be, which is quite popular, is car sharing. Where there's payment of funds and things like that, because technically it is income that should be declared. But it also can be applied if you've got a rental property and are setting up a business. So essentially how it works is the £1,000, you're allowed £1,000 of trading income as long as you're not part of a partnership or you're not part of a company. It's not through a company. So you might have set up a new business, saying doing some web development, and you're in the first year that your income might be £800. So therefore you can apply this £1,000 trading allowance, which essentially means that you don't pay any tax on that money. Now, it can also apply where you might have higher income. You might have brought in £3,000, but you might have only had, say, £250 worth of costs that are tax deductible. So what you can do is you would still need to declare your £3,000 on a self-assessment tax return. However, you could then apply the £1,000 towards the costs. So therefore then £2,000 would be taxable rather than £3,000 less your 250. I hope this makes sense. But it can be applied if you've got rental income. So for example, one of my clients has a couple of rental properties, and literally the nominal cost going through, they have no finance attached to them, and there might be 250 quid, £300 worth of expenses each year. So what we can do is apply that £1,000 of costs against the property, and therefore they pay less in tax. Where it can be applied in any of these situations. However, I think one of the things you need to bear in mind is it can affect your tax credit depending what your other income is. And also, if you have a job, so you might have a part-time job while you're starting to build up your self-employed business, you can still use this £1,000 income even if you've got other taxable income, because that's taxed at source anyway. So if you're employed, you'll be taxed through your employer and through PAYE. If you've got multiple self-employed businesses, trading businesses, then you can attach the £1,000 to one of those businesses. So for example, you may have an established business doing search engine optimization, SEO, that you may bring in, say, £30,000 a year. However, you might have another trading business which you may do some websites, and because that's just starting, or you're just doing that as a little bit of a sideline, then that £1,000 allowance could attach to that business if you've got nominal costs or it's under £1,000. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to put a blog on our website, and when I have done, I'll share the link to that. I'll do that over the next week or so to try and explain it a little bit clearer. I think one thing you do need to watch for, though, is reasons why you wouldn't apply for it. If you have a loss, you wouldn't attach this, because that loss can be rolled forward and reduce any future tax against any profits that you make in future. And I think also if your expenses are over £1,000, then you can't claim the £1,000 and then the additional on top. So say your expenses for your trade are £3,000, you can't then claim the £1,000, you just deduct the normal expenses of £3,000. But that's really the only circumstances where you wouldn't apply it. And do remember that if it's part of a partnership, your income, or from a company, this doesn't apply. It's purely for trading income as self-employed. I hope that helps. and I hope it helps establish, if you've already got other income, that you can still apply this £1,000 to your new trade. And any questions, as always, all our links, how to get in touch with us, are in the info on the video, and thanks for listening.